Right now, somewhere near you, your phone is waiting. It doesn't need to ring. You will reach for it anyway, not because you decided to, because it was engineered that way. The last time you were truly bored, you were probably 10 years old. Since then, something has been eating every empty second of your life. And the scariest part is, we built the predator ourselves. This is the end of boredom, and it is not an accident. For almost all of human history, boredom was unavoidable. No screens, no feeds, no notifications, just time, stretching out in front of you. And that emptiness wasn't a bug in the system, it was the system. Boredom is what pushed your ancestors to invent tools, stories, and religions. When the mind has nothing to react to, it starts to create. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network. It activates when you stop focusing on the outside world. Daydreaming, self-reflection, memory consolidation, creative insight, they all come from this state. In 2001, neuroscientist Marcus Reichel at Washington University mapped it. He showed that the brain is never idle. When it looks idle, it is doing its most important work. But today, that state is under attack. The average person touches their phone 2,617 times a day. That is once every 36 seconds of waking life. And it is not because you are weak. It is because the most powerful companies in history learned how to hack your boredom. To understand how, we have to go back to the 1930s. A psychologist named B.F. Skinner was studying pigeons at Harvard. He discovered something disturbing. If food appeared after a random number of pecks, the pigeon would peck compulsively, forever. Skinner called it a variable ratio schedule of reinforcement. It is the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive, and it is the same mechanism inside every app on your phone. Swipe down. Maybe nothing. Maybe a like. Maybe a message. You never know which swipe will give you the hit, so you keep swiping. In 2009, a developer named Lauren Brichter invented pull to refresh. He later said he regretted it. He had built a slot machine into a gesture. Around the same time, another designer created infinite scroll. There is no natural stopping point. The feed has no bottom. Your hand keeps moving because the app removed the reason to stop. These were not design accidents. They were design choices. And the goal was always the same: keep you there. Because in the attention economy, your time is the product being sold. But here is the part that should disturb you. It is not just that your phone entertains you. It is that you can no longer tolerate silence. In 2014, psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran an experiment. He asked people to sit alone in a room for 15 minutes. No phone, no book, no distraction, just their own thoughts. Most people hated it. Then Wilson gave them a choice. They could keep thinking, or they could press a button and give themselves a painful electric shock. 2/3 of men pressed it. 1/4 of women pressed it. They chose physical pain over being alone with their own minds. Wilson published the paper in Science. He called it, "Just Think." The conclusion was brutal. We would rather hurt ourselves than be bored. And that was in 2014, before TikTok, before Reels, before AI feeds. The systems have only gotten better at finding the exact image that stops you from looking away. Your boredom is not being relieved, it is being harvested. So what did we lose in the trade? We lost the space where deep thinking happens. A 2019 study from the University of Central Lancashire showed that bored people score higher on creativity tests. Boredom forces the brain to make its own entertainment. That is where inventions, songs, and life decisions are born. But if every gap is filled, the brain stops learning how to generate. We also lost the ability to know what we actually feel. When you feel sadness, anxiety, or emptiness, your phone offers an instant escape, so you never sit with the feeling long enough to understand it. Psychologists call this experiential avoidance. It feels like relief, but it trains you to fear your own inner life. And the companies that sell distraction know exactly what they are doing. In 2013, a Google design ethicist named Tristan Harris wrote a presentation. The title was, "A Call to Minimize Distraction and Respect Users' Attention." He warned his colleagues that their products were hacking human psychology. He showed how infinite scroll, autoplay, and notifications were designed to create addiction. The room listened. Then they kept building it anyway, because addicted users generate more ad revenue than free users. Harris left Google. He started a movement called the Center for Humane Technology. But by then, the architecture was already inside 2 billion pockets. This is the system you are up against. It is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to make you come back, and it is winning. Teenagers today spend over 7 hours a day on screens, not including school. That is a full-time job, with no weekends. Anxiety, depression, and sleep disorders in young people have risen in parallel with screen time. Correlation is not causation, but the curve is hard to ignore, and here is the truth nobody wants to say out loud. You are not bad at focusing. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You are a person, standing in front of a machine that was built to break your concentration. It is working as designed. So what do you do with that information? You do not have to throw your phone away. That is not the point. The point is to notice the mechanism, to recognize the moment you reach for it, not because you need something, but because you are afraid of nothing. That fear is not natural. It was installed, and it can be uninstalled. Start with one gap, 1 minute, one line in a queue where you do not pull out the phone. Let the boredom in. Let it stay. It will feel uncomfortable at first. That is the withdrawal. But after a while, something begins to happen. Your mind starts to wander. And wandering is where you remember who you were before the feeds. For 300,000 years, your ancestors sat through silence and survived. They stared at flames, at clouds, at the dark. And in that silence, they built language, myth, and meaning. You still carry that brain. It has not disappeared. It is just waiting. Your phone is not evil. It is a tool. But a tool that never lets you put it down is no longer a tool. It is a leash. And the most rebellious thing you can do today is nothing. To let a moment exist without filling it. To be bored on purpose. Because that emptiness is not a hole in your life. It is the doorway back to yourself. And the next time you reach for your phone, ask yourself one question. Am I looking for something? Or am I running from something? If it is the second, you already have the answer. Put it down. Let the silence come back. Your boredom was never broken. It was stolen. And the good news is, what was stolen can be taken back. One empty minute at a time. You don't have to become a monk. You just have to stop letting a machine decide when you are allowed to think.